struggles is facing millions of Kenyans grappling with unemployment and soaring food prices. Now, the year's end finds the country at crossroads, according to the InfoTrack report released today. Now, we've got that and much more lined up for you this particular minute. My name is Martin Macharia. Stay with us for the next couple of minutes, even as we unpack what we've got in store for you this evening as far as news is concerned. Start engaging us on our socials at EBN TV Kenya. That is on Facebook. We are live on Facebook and as well as on YouTube, and you can as well send us your feedback through our SMS line, that is 23059. Now, EBN Prime Edition starts now. And former President Uhuru Kenyatta has dismissed claims by some ODM leaders suggesting that he intends to buy and manipulate the party ahead of the 2027 general elections. Now, speaking during the funeral of former Rulugari Member of Parliament Jirongo in Kakamega County, Kenyatta said he has endured enough baseless accusations and insults from political rivals. He emphasized that he will not allow his reputation to be tarnished again. Now, the former president's remarks comes amid speculations and political tensions surrounding the opposition ahead of the next general election, with some leaders accusing him of attempting to influence party dynamics.
Hata tukiambiwa sijui tunaenda kwa zingine ati nakwambia jameni wa Kenya naona mtu akishindwa njia ya kujipendekeza kule anataka kujipendekeza, lazima atafute mtu aseme unajua watu wanakataa kusikiza kwa sababu ya ule, kwa sababu ya huyu. Toa hiyo fikira mbovu, kwenda ongea na wananchi. Unda na usimamishe chama chako. Kuwa na sera zako kama mwanaume, kama Cyrus. Sio kuzunga huko ukitoa mambo ya upuzi ambaye haipeleki nchi pahali. We want a united country. We want a vibrant democracy. And we want the will of the people to be that shall prevail. Ama ni namna gani wenzangu? Si ni namna hiyo? Kwa hivyo mimi sitaki kusema mengi, mnajua mimi ni mstaafu. Lakini kusema si mstaafu sio kusema uniingize kidole kwa macho, mimi pia nitakuingiza. Hatuogopi la. Tuheshimiane. Sina namna hiyo. Cyrus aliheshimu wote. Mimi na mheshimu, na heshimu chama chake. Wale wengine wafanye hivyo. Hiyo ndio njia ya kujenga taifa letu, lakini sio siasa duni.
Right. At the same time, supporters of the late former Lugari Member of Parliament, Cyrus Jirongo, has called for thorough and transparent investigations into his death, insisting that many details surrounding the politician's demise remains unclear. Now, speaking during his funeral in Lugari, the late MP allies expressed skepticism over the official government probe into the road accident that claimed Jirongo's life. Now, they warned that without a proper and impartial investigation, doubts and suspicions would continue to linger. Political figures from Western Kenya also voiced their lack of confidence in the current inquiry, urging authorities to ensure accountability and provide clear answers to the family and the public.
I am yet to see a single person. Na vile walio tunapenda maneno na story. Tungetoka na masimu zetu tupige picha. Mnataka kuniambia watu 65 hata hakuna mmoja alitoka akapiga picha?
Ngoja niwaambie. Basi ikawaka mataa ndani ya police station, hata maaskari wakatoroka.
Musalia, it is your responsibility to face William Ruto head on. Umwambie tuvambie kifo cha Cyrus Jirongo.
And Mheshimiwa Wetangula, let me tell you, nimekuwa kwa ofisi yangu hapo chini, wewe ukiingia, shortly after nilikuwa nikiona vile Jirongo anakuja kwa ofisi yako, mnakaa hapo half an hour, 45 minutes, 1 hour. Tell us what business you are discussing with Cyrus Jirongo.
Kaketi watu watatu. Mimi, Cyrus na Jenotuwei wa Athletics Kenya. Nikamwambia Cyrus tumalize haraka kwa sababu nimefiwa pia na mbunge kutoka Mombasa. Na kama speaker lazima niende hiyo mazishi.
We want everything to do with his death laid bare, iwe wazi, so that if there was foul play, the ones who are involved in the foul play be targeted. And if it was not foul play, then God's will shall prevail.
Right, at the same time, Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna, who also serves as ODM Secretary General, has expressed concerns that those seeking justice and a probe into the death of former Lugari Member of Parliament Cyrus Jirongo may not find accountability under the current government. Now, speaking during Jirongo'S burial at Lumakanda in Kakamega County, Sifuna, on behalf of several ODM members, apologized to former President Uhuru Kenyatta over remarks made by an ODM member criticizing him. Now, the senator highlighted that the ongoing calls for their investigation into Jirongo'S death face political and institutional challenges and urged that justice be pursued transparently for the sake of the late MP's family and the public.
Ndugu zetu hapa ambao wanauliza maswali atiwajibiwe. Huwezi kupata haki katika hii serikali. Mnamaliza wakati. Wewe ukiwa kondoo unaenda kutafuta haki kwa mahakama ya fisi, ole wako. Hakuna majibu tutapata kwa ajili ya maisha ya huyu ndugu yetu huyu ambaye amelala hapa. Sisi tunawaachia ndugu zetu watiriki. Nilisikia umeshafanya hiyo kitu. Niseme nisiseme bwana? Niseme nisiseme? Hakuna haki tutapata kwa serikali ya William Ruto juu ya maisha ya huyu ndugu. Sisi tuko nyuma ya hawa watiriki bana befwe. Na kitu watatuambia hapa leo. Wanajua ukweli, wamekaa wamenyamaza hapa. Mheshimiwa Uhuru Kenyatta, leo ni tarehe 30 mwezi wa 12 mwaka 2025. Kwa sababu mimi bado ni katibu mkuu wa chama, mimi bado ndio msemaji wa ODM. Nataka kwa niaba ya chama cha ODM ni kuombe msamaha kwa matusi ambayo unaelekezewa na baadhi ya viongozi wa ODM ambao wamesahau kazi ambayo ulifanya kumsaidia baba awe rais. Sisi Waluya huwa tunasema mjinga akishiba anachoma siaki, anachoma gala. Wamesahau kazi ambayo ulifanya. Sisi tulikuwepo pale, sisi ni mashahidi wa kazi ambayo ulifanya kumsaidia baba. Ulijitolea kwa hali na mali. Leo hii wanataka kuukata mkono ambao uliwalisha. Kwa niaba ya chama kizima cha ODM, kwa sababu chama kinabeba wenye akili na washenzi, nataka kwa niaba ya wale washenzi niseme pole kwa matusi ambayo unaelekezewa. Na kama hakuna siku, wacha niseme bana, kama hakuna siku Mheshimiwa Uhuru, chama cha ODM kimekuambia asante. Leo nataka niseme kama katibu mkuu wa chama cha ODM, asante kwa kumshikilia baba. Baba Raila Amolo Odinga alikuwa anatuambia kila siku, wewe ni baadhi ya rafiki zake wachache ambao walikuwa wa kweli. Na sisi tutazidi kukuheshimu. Kwa sababu tuliwamulika wanaenda mikutano ya siri kule Kilgoris kuuza chama kwa Mheshimiwa William Ruto. Tukawamulika. Unajua Nairobi, Aladwa yuko hapa. Nairobi unaweza ona mtu amekuibia simu. Ukisema mwizi, yeye anageuka anasema mwizi. Halafu wanaanza kukupiga. Kwa sababu tuliwamulika wanajaribu kunadi chama cha ODM.
Now, still on matters politics, Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka has raised concerns over renewed calls for a national referendum, accusing the government of plotting to manipulate the outcome of the 2027 general elections. Now, speaking during a press briefing in Nairobi on Tuesday, Musyoka claimed that the proposed referendum is a political scheme aimed at altering the constitution to favor the current administration. Now, he alleged that the move is intended to enrich those in power through what he termed as backdoor constitutional changes. Now, the former vice president also addressed the political roadmap of the united opposition ahead of the next general election. He confirmed that the coalition plans to unveil its presidential candidate by the end of March 2026, signaling early preparations to challenge the ruling government. Now, Musyoka said the opposition is committed to presenting a candidate who represents the aspirations of all Kenyans, emphasizing that the selection process will be guided by fairness, inclusivity, and competence.
Let me be clear about what this regime is doing. Faced with failure and faced with the revolution, they have resorted to destruction, to deception, and to delay. The Singapore allusion is an example. Ruto speaks of turning Kenya into Singapore. But what we see is #Singapore, a nation drowning in debt, overtaxed citizens, collapsed industries, and fleeing investors. Let us be clear. Singapore was built on discipline, on merit, and strategic investment. In 3 years, Kenya under Ruto is being drowned in Rutopreneurship, where public office is a family business, where contracts go to cronies, and where corruption is policy. Let us be even clearer. You cannot hope or pretend to build Singapore on the foundation of theft, incompetence, and nepotism. Let's face it, Singapore is all we will ever get under this regime. Secondly, I want to talk about the referendum diversion. And now, they want to add a constitutional referendum to the August 2027 elections. Can you imagine, Kenyans? Already the weight of 6 ballots from an MCA to an MP to a senator to a county women rep to a governor to a senator, did I say senator, to the president, 6 ballots, and you want to add other ballots to make it 10? Where in the world has that happened? I must tell them, we do not even have in place a referendum law. Let Parliament deal with that first. And when we under NADCO dealt with these issues, those issues, the number one item was the cost of living, which this regime said, no, that's our business, leave it. Now it is now under the urgency of now. This is so that they can manipulate the process and attempt to extend their grip on power through backdoor constitutional changes. There is no constitutional crisis in our country. Nothing can stop this election based on boundaries review. The legal avenue available, avenues available, of course, the main was in Parliament, that the state has unfortunately captured.
Now, away from matters politics now, the majority of Kenyans are grappling with unemployment and soaring food prices, which have emerged as the leading financial challenges facing households in 2025. And according to the latest InfoTrack end of year survey, the survey indicates that 26% of respondents identified unemployment as the single biggest financial burden on their households. Now, that was closely followed by high food prices at 25%. The findings highlight the continued strain on households' incomes amid a tough economic environment. Other significant financial pressures cited include school fees, which stood at 17%, low wages at 14%, and healthcare costs at 8%. Rent and housing expenses, as well as debt, were each mentioned by 5% of respondents. And on the causes of rising cost of living, most respondents pointed to governance-related factors, which include corruption, was cited as the leading contributor by 31%, and those surveyed followed by high taxes at 26%. Government policies accounted for 16%, while global economic factors such as fuel prices and supply chain distributions were blamed by 13% of respondents. Right, now still matters corruption, which was flagged by the InfoTrack survey. Now detectives from the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, that is EACC, have arrested a traffic police officer in Macharia town for allegedly soliciting and receiving bribes from authorities attached to Macharia traffic base. Was apprehended following a target surveillance operation along the busy Kenol Macharia road. Now, the operation was launched after EACC received multiple complaints from the public regarding alleged rampant bribery by traffic officers along the roads. During the arrest, investigators recovered 6,450 Kenya shillings in denominations of 50 Kenya shillings, 100 Kenya shillings, and 200 Kenya shillings believed to have been collected within 2-hour period. Now, EACC reported that another officer, PC Matthew Osike, managed to evade arrest during the operation, Mwangi was escorted to the EACC Central Regional offices for processing before being booked at Nyeri Police Station and later released on cash bail pending the conclusion of the investigation. Now, this operation comes days after similar arrest in Mtwapa town, where traffic officer Mazira Haron was apprehended following surveillance along the Mtwapa-Malindi Road. Investigators recovered 13,750 Kenya shillings, all in 100 notes believed to be proceeds of bribery. All right, that story takes us on our first breather here on EBN Prime Edition, but we'll be back with much more.
Watching EBN TV, transforming your world.
EBN TV cares about the growth of your business. To advertise with us, call 0725 386 501 or 0740 653 453. EBN TV, transforming your world.
You are watching EBN TV, transforming your world.
From Nairobi, Kenya, this is EBN TV.
Appealed to the courts to make a fair and people-centered decision regarding the proposed transfer of the National Government Constituencies Development Fund, that is the NGCDF, from members of Parliament to county governors, the county governments. Now, the MP cautioned that moving the management of the fund to counties would negatively affect Mwananchi and disrupt numerous development projects that have been implemented through NGCDF since its establishment. Now, he argued that the fund has played a critical role in supporting grassroots development, particularly in education, infrastructure, and social services. Kalasinga further stated that devolution has not fully benefited citizens as expected, warning that transferring NGCDF to county control could place an additional burden on county governments. He added that many ongoing and planned projects risks stalling due to delays and bureaucratic challenges often associated with county-managed development initiatives.
You have heard the testimonies that the success stories that we have heard from CDF in my constituency, which I've heard today, tells you that the ruling of the CDF case, which is in court, which is to come in February, kindly, the judges who are sitting on the bench to really make judgment for that, for that case, kindly consider the children of Kenya. Consider the students of Kenya. As you make that ruling, you know you can make a very wise ruling, which you are writing. We know you write a very good ruling, which will come in February. A ruling about CDF. Please, our people, the judges, make a ruling based on the Kenyans. Remember, this money does not go in the pockets of members of parliament. We don't benefit anything. Like, what do you benefit when you are giving out the bursary in the tune of 66 million? That is money to the schools. Bursaries go to schools for the benefit of students. So please, let us not politicize CDF, energy CDF. We are bleeding as a National Assembly. we are bleeding to the churches who are going to make a ruling. That the ruling you make has a direct impact on the lifestyle of kids who will drop out of schools. And I'm happy even some churches are products of this support. I'm not talking, there are churches who are still very young. Magistrates are still very young. Most of the magistrates have benefited from bursaries. They know the importance of it. So please, as you retire to make the ruling on what we have argued out as a house, please save this fund. This fund is alive, the only available fund that you can see fruits. If you move around this country, I'm not bragging. Members of Parliament don't brag. Anybody, we are not bragging as institutions. And a member of Parliament is nowhere on that fund. That fund is called National Government Development Fund. A member of Parliament is nobody. He's not a committee member. In fact, we oversight it. So we are oversighting that money. We are doing that job. We are doing our good job to oversight. And we are oversighting it properly. That's why you can see proper results.
Alright, that particular story was produced by one Duncan Koba. Moving on, the head bishop of the Full Gospel Churches of Kenya, Dr. Peter Nakola, has urged Kenyans to mark the end of year festivities with restraint and responsibilities as schools prepare to reopen in January 2026. Now speaking during a media briefing in Rocktown, Dr. Nakola cautioned families against excessive spending during the festive season, noting that parents and guardians should prioritize school fees and other education-related needs for the upcoming academic year. Now, the clerics also called on motorists to exercise extra caution on the roads, especially as heavy rains continue to increase the risk of road accidents across the country. He emphasized the importance of observing traffic rules and safeguarding lives during the busy holiday travel period. Now, in addition, Dr. Nakola appealed for religious tolerance and mutual respect among Kenyans, urging peace, loving citizens, and the coexist humanely regardless of faith or belief.
Kwa hivyo tunaposherekea katika msimu huu, kumbukeni watoto wanarejea shule. Nina ombi ya kwamba watoto wanahitaji kuandaliwa. Tusimalize kila kitu kwa mambo ya masherehe kwa sababu ya kesho na kwa sababu ya watoto wetu. Watoto ndio hazina yetu ya kesho na tunastahili kuandalia mambo mema. Katika usafiri ya barabarani, twende tukielewa ya kwamba hatuna maisha mara mbili. Utafika tu mahali utaenda. Janga la barabara limekuwa tisho kwa sababu ya haraka ambaye haina maana. Utafika tu, heri kuchelewa na ufike. Sisi kama dini ya Kikristo tumepewa moyo wa kupenda wote na tusiinue roho ambayo hajawahi kuwa katika nchi yetu. Roho ya kidini ambayo inainua hisia za uchungu, lakini tupeleke habari njema kwa nia njema na kufikia watu wote na tutabarikiwa. Kenya inajulikana kama kituo cha amani siku zote na ni nchi ambayo ni mcha Mungu. Kwa hivyo langu ni kusema ya kwamba kama vile neno la Mungu linatuambia katika Kumbukumbu la Torati 11 mstari wa 12, ati ni nchi ambayo macho ya Mungu huangalia tangu mwanzo ya mwaka na hata mwisho, ambaye ni Mungu huachilia maji kutoka mbinguni na hata pia kwa wabariki. Tusisuie baraka za Mungu wa wakati huu na tuwe na amani.
Now, the Ministry of Health has raised concerns over the increasing cases of drug and substance abuse among learners, warning that the trend poses serious risks to young people and threatens education outcomes. Now, speaking during the press briefing, Public Health and Professional Standards Principal Secretary Mary Modhoni said that schools across the country are reporting higher incidences of alcohol, narcotics, and prescription drug misuse. Now, she noted that the problem is affecting learners and increasingly younger ages and is also spilling over into surrounding communities. Now, the PS said the one that substance abuse is harming learners' health, academic performance, and overall well-being, undermining national efforts to safeguard the future of young people and the also the old. Now, the Principal Secretary said the Ministry of Health is working closely with the Ministry of Education and Interior to strengthen prevention measures, enhance awareness campaigns, and enforce existing laws aimed at curbing the spread and misuse of the use of illicit substances in schools. Take a look.
The rise in drugs and substance use. And this is not just in one county. It is in very, very many counties. And it has come to our attention that the war on drugs and substance use is actually now graduating into institutions. And this is institutions of learning, whether in lower primary learning or higher institutions, secondary or tertiary institution. Therefore, we have been carrying out surveys, and some of the young ones we are interacting with, they are also telling us of the habits that are in schools right now. And the initiation to drugs is actually being done by older people, either employees of the schools or people who hang around the corridors of those institutions. So we are not taking this lying down, because we will employ a whole of government approach to ensure that all agencies are joining hands. We will go to those schools and ensure that we unearth any drugs that are with the students. That is in collaboration with the Ministry of Education. And we want teachers to thoroughly check what their students are bringing to school. And especially now when they are going back to school. It is becoming worrying, because manufacturers are also targeting youths and the young people. And they have developed sweeteners that resemble undetectable substances. And this could be sneaked in schools and at any given time. If your child is given a biscuit at the gate, is given a sweet, they will not know whether those are drugs or not. And they will be sold at very cheap prices that are manageable by even the students with the pocket money that they are given. So we are calling for vigilance and impromptu checks in classes, impromptu checks in hostels, impromptu checks in dormitories where our children are, just to ensure that drugs are not sneaked into the compound.
All right, that particular story wraps up our program here on EBN TV. My name is Macharia. Thank you so much for your feedback. Let me sample some of the feedback actually here on Facebook. And I can see Mika, Kennedy Jumba Sirigwa, Faith Deals and Tonic Music Club, Rumbleman Music, Moshi and D, and of course not forgetting Calvin Juma. Of course, they say asante sana for keeping us company until this particular minute. My name is Macharia. Once again, do yourself a lovely night. Of course, as always, let's do this again when God says we do.